Welcome to Authors Radio, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. I'm your host, Alba Mireles, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today's guest, James Hopper, the author of the book titled The Fianna Chronicles, The Awakening. We're here to celebrate your creativity and explore the world you crafted in this book. James, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for allowing me this time to share stories as the old bards did. It is my honor and my pleasure to spend time here with you.
Thank you. And to start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a writer?
I'm a retired professor. I taught interactive media, web technologies. At the point that I retired, I was kind of lost. Sort of what happens in my story is it's so much. I started in grief. I had spent the last 25 plus years teaching, so that's kind of who I was. And it became a struggle for me to remember, so where's my fire? Where's that flame that I used to have? Have I wounded myself in a way that I can never recover? What is it that I need? What is my, and I'll put this in kind of the Joseph Campbell thing. What is my hero's journey? How am I going to go from having knowing who I was to being who I need to become, who I should become? And so the writing helped me do that. I've always been a bit of a storyteller. I used to tell people that my father would say that I was the best storyteller he ever saw. In my older age, I'm beginning to think it's not quite the way he didn't mean it quite the way I think he meant it at that time. But that's okay because I love to tell stories. My children sometimes get a little tired of my storytelling, but they will sit patiently and listen. So as you can see, I will prattle on and on if you allow me. So hopefully that's a good answer, and we can kind of move forward.
Yeah, there's a good answer, and this is your space. Feel free to say whatever you want to say. And for many authors, there's a moment when a story first sparks in their mind. Do you remember when the idea for the Fiona Chronicles first came to you?
The Fianna Chronicles have been mulling in the back of my head for a number of years. I spent some time visiting Ireland. I read Irish mythology. I would recall back the stories that my father and grandfather would tell me about Ireland, about Irish mythology, Irish culture. And at the point of my retirement, I felt like I was ready to begin that story. So I sat down and started writing. And what I found for me was that Ashlyn, Alara, Kala, and Ronan, the main characters of my story, started to trust me enough that they came to me and started to give me insights into who they were, so that they helped me write that story. As we grew together, it became just a great journey.
And this is a series rooted in a myth, history, or something more personal. What drew you to the Fiona as your main character?
In Irish culture, in Irish legends, the Fianna were warrior priests. They were people who were dedicated to defending the land, defending the people. To become a Fianna, it didn't require bloodline. It didn't require royalty. It could be anyone who felt that draw, that need to defend those people. Fianna who founded the Fianna, developed seven trials, which in book two, we'll start to explore those. If you could pass the seven trials, prove your worth, you could then become a Fianna. So for me, that drew me, that idea of honor, of courage, of sacrifice for others, drew me to the Fianna. And I think my characters then are drawn that same way. At least that's what they tell me.
And is there any particular character in like in the book that it stands out to you as specifically meaningful?
What I think the main four do, in the book, I describe Ashlyn. She's the leader now of this group. She's the medallion bearer, and she has self doubt. She questions, "Could she really do this? Is she worthy of this honor?" Ronan was a member of the royal guard. He I refer to as the hidden griever. Caught in a battle, he froze, and his companions were killed in this battle. He felt that he betrayed them. He let them down. So he has to overcome that sense of betrayal. Kala is my magic bearer. She has fire and other magic capabilities. Her magic got away from her, and she caused the death of some people in her village. So does she trust her magic? She's the guardian. And then Alara is my shield maiden. She is the questioner. She was raised to question, don't trust. So can these four people form a bond to be able to defeat Sable, the deceiver? And Sable works by deception. He's a shapeshifter. He doesn't come in with steel and blade, but he comes in with self doubt. Are you really who you think you are? Does this really mean what you need it, what you think it means? If you listen to me, I will tell you what my truth is, and that will become your truth. So they have to face a world that's forgotten. The medallion represents memory. Can we remember the heroes? Can we remember what is important to us? And are we willing to take a stand for it? So again, Ashlyn, Kala, Alara, and Ronan, my main characters, face Sable, face each other, face their doubts, and can they grow and develop into the heroic team that they could be destined to become.
And Morandum, the world of your story feels like incredibly layered and alive. How did you approach the process of creating such a vivid and immersed world?
Well, thank you. Mortardune is the world where all of this takes place. A lot of it's based on Ireland. The same kind of topography, the same kind of wonderful feeling that you get when you go to Ireland. There are areas where there are fairy forts, and those are areas that you don't touch, that are guarded by the fairies. People who have disturbed them have been faced with equipment that breaks, things that don't happen. So Ireland is, for me, is this mystical, wonderful land full of magic, and I tried to make Moradun that type of an area, is to transfer that vision into that world.
And there's a lot of symbolism and prophecy in your word. Like, how do you balance mystery and meaning in your storytelling?
I'd like to think that I'm taking my readers on a hero's journey. I'm inviting them into this special world, helping them guide them through it. But I also think that the readers are my mentor, that they're taking me into their world. They've accepted me in, and they're helping me understand how to tell the story. So, again, we go back to Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey. But I really think, and I've started to dwell on this a bit more, is that the readers are truly the mentors, and I am truly the one who needs to be guided and taught, and the readers of the story are helping me tell that story, make it more complete, guiding me in what can be said, what needs to be said, how to present it. And again, and I feel like Kala, Ashlyn, Ronan, and Alara are alive to me, that they talk to me and they help me understand their world too, so I can see it through their eyes. Uh, I have six grandchildren now, which is absolutely wonderful. So I'm learning to see the world brand new again. I've got two 5-year-old granddaughters, two 3-year-old grandsons, and it is amazing things that I have overlooked that are absolutely wonderful to them that they see for the first time. So that has helped me with Moradun and kind of build that world as seeing it for the very first time, experiencing the magic again.
Yeah, this thing of creating a fantasy world, this dip isn't easy, right? And for you, what is your writing process look like? Are you a planner, or you discover things as you go?
I'm a planner. I outline everything. Remember, I taught for a number of years, so it was you outline what you're going to write in your research papers. However, I also think that that outline is good muscle memory. It gives me something a path to start to follow, but it doesn't mean I'm stuck to that path. If something amazing happens, I can follow that route. I played sports for a while, and the idea was we would practice plays over and over and over, so that when they broke down in the middle of a game or something, you could react appropriately. I feel it's the same way. I write out my outline. I've got an idea of who my characters are, and then I let them grow and tell me who they are. Uh, One of the surprises in the story was Ronan for me. He is always he through most of the story is reserved and self doubting. He's felt like he's betrayed his fellow troops, that he let them down, that he doesn't deserve to be alive even at this point. He makes a grab for the medallion to give it to the deceiver. He has been led astray. He he learns that he has power that he didn't know he had before, that he doesn't need that. That then he combines with Ashlyn, Alara, and Kala, and they defeat, well, now, sorry, spoiler, they defeat the deceiver. He learns that he was always enough all along. And that kind of caught me by surprise because it wasn't quite what I was expecting.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that it has like a message to all of us. Like, as you say at the beginning, there's something that you decide to, there's not in blood, it's you decide to be a Fianna, a fighter. So in this book, who is your ideal reader for Chronicles, and how do you want them to feel while reading?
Well, I want them to understand that story and memory are important. We live in a very loud age. There's lots and lots of things going on, and there's lots of things trying to get our attention. And I keep going back to memory. Can we remember those old stories? Can we remember who we were and what we stood for? That's where I think that the story is good for, and I think that's what we want to make sure we do is that memory. Uh, you know the can broken souls carry ancient fire? Memories worth fighting for. The quiet, faithful, becoming yourself. Fully, fiercely yourself, inviting the magic of who you are and letting that out into the world. That's kind of what I see as the ideal reader for the book. Now, I think everybody should read the book? Well, heavens, yes.
Yeah.
You know
And
the
it have any fan reaction or feedback surprised you? Like, for those who already read the book, like, they what they say?
I just published in March, so not had. I'm still looking for those reactions. People telling me what they thought of the book to help me understand, you know, how I can make it better, how I can enter their world again. So I'm hoping to start getting feedback, but I have to unfortunately admit that so far I've not heard back from anyone. Uh, Maybe it's still too early in the book. Like I said, we published it in March. Uh, I've got it up on my website so that if someone wishes to buy the book, they can get a signed copy. But I haven't gotten any feedback yet, so I'm hoping to get some.
Yeah, but at the end, I think, those people who know you, that knows your stories, they're gonna be like wondering, okay, this sounds good. For me, it was like, okay, this is a lot of story meat. We can have mystery, we can have like a little bit of action and destiny, sacrifice. So we don't want to spoil, but it's a good one. And also, your story blends mythology with modern emotional deep. What themes are you most passionate about exploring?
Well, I'm going to keep going back to remembrance, memory. That's the theme that I really think resounds most strongly in my writing. I write on Substack and I publish twice a week, so there I've got bits of flash fiction to give a little more background into the Fianna Chronicles. People can get a taste of my writing to make sure that it's something that they like. But it's the idea of, can we remember? Can we grab that magic that we once thought we believed in and believe in it again? So it's memory. A lot of times you'll see in things where I start writing is the medallion doesn't forget. The world is forgetting, but the medallion remembers. I wrote a short story called The Last Storm Bearer, where the storm is raging because it feels like the land has forgotten the storm. The land and the storm once, the people in the storm once worked together, But then the people built shelters and defended themselves from the storm. The storm felt forgotten. So the storm bearer then presents himself to the storm, and I remember who you are. I remember how we work together. So that, again, that memory, the idea that we are truly one with each other. Can we just keep that in mind? Remember that.
Yeah, and in this process of writing, did you face any challenges? Like, I don't know, like inspiration or star writing?
Lots of inspiration. Reading Celtic and Irish mythology, um, talking to my children and hearing their stories of their work, looking at my grandchildren and watching them discover the world brand new. You know, getting out as an older person, getting out and being in places I hadn't been able to be in years. Again, kind of that memory of things. Back into walking in parks, walking along rivers, sharing wonderful evenings. Those things that you tend to forget when you're working full time and you've got all this stuff ahead of you. Well, I may have more sunsets behind me than sunrises ahead of me, but now I have time to actually start to remember those those times and start to build new memories. And so those inspirations kind of all came together for me.
And I was wondering also about the book. Will you ever adapt the Fianna Chronicles into another medium like graphic novels, animation, or audio?
I would love to. My dream is that a big time movie producer comes by and says, "Wow, this Fianna Chronicles is a great movie," or a game producer, because I think it would be a great game. So I've thought about trying to develop an app, a game for the Fianna Chronicles, although it's a tad out of my area of expertise. So yeah, I can see this going across multiple mediums, which also encourages the person who has the story in their hands to become part of that story. Help me tell it. Because I think the story only gets better when you sit by the fireside with me, when we both gather around the fire and we tell each other those stories. We share those ideas together. And that's what I'm hoping happens.
And we always love to ask this one. Are you working? What are you working next? Like, there's something that you're writing that you can share with our listeners?
I have started on book two. Book two will be called Shadows and Myth. In book two, Gol Mac Morna comes back. He founded the Sons of Morna, who in Irish tradition are the rivals of the Fianna. So we're going to introduce the seven trials. The way I've started book two, Shadows and Myth, is we have a little bit of PTSD with our four heroes. They have faced an incredible challenge. How are they going to overcome this? And now we're going to be faced with a new challenge of a former Fianna, Morna, who comes back to try to reclaim power that he lost through bad actions and not being a true loyal warrior of the people. So that's where book two is headed.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. And for ending the podcast, how listeners can be in touch with you and like work with you, buy your book.
The book is available on a couple places. One is let me make sure I get the URL correct. It's https payhip.com, the Everweaver's archive. So Larian Everweaver is the voice I use when I write for social media. He's the bard that's helped teach me how to tell these stories. My website is jamesfhopper.com. You can also get the book there. And I write on Substack. My Substack is hopperj.substack.com. And would love, I invite you to come sit by the fire with me. Come help me tell stories. I love to listen. I love listening to the silence between the stories because there's so much there. So I'm always happy when someone comes by and they want to share a pint, and we will sit and talk because that's part of what I love to do.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, James. And it has been a pleasure having you on Authors Radio. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your work and sharing your passion. And listeners, be sure to check his book. Thank you for turning into Authors Radio, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. Join me next time for another inspiring conversation. In the meantime, happy listening.